There's something that we did learn literally by accident while we were changing all these pipes around and doing everything. We found out that, literally by accident, if you let the pipe have a very slight downward bend in it, almost to create a trap, a water trap. So far they seemed, and we've had it running for about 2 or 3 days, the trickle at the end and the trickle at the beginning is greatly reduced. Some of these would trickle, I think it has to do with the length of the pipe as well, but some of these would trickle for 2 to 5 minutes. Some of these now, now that we've moved the pipes around and we're getting ready to make the adjustment, some of these, I believe it's this one's the most fine-tuned. This one will usually turn on instantly. I mean, go from no trickle to full force, and then will kind of trickle off like it is now. These are like trickling off trickles, which you see here, and they'll slowly work back, and it's just letting it out, and then when the belt siphon completely stops, they'll pretty much shut off. There'll be a little residual trickle. But as you can see, ideally you want them to completely stop. There should be no real trickle, except for when it's about to start and when it's about to stop. They should, but they're not going to be like an on-off switch. It's not a instant on, everything drains, instant off, everything stops. We haven't been able to duplicate that. Maybe we're not smart enough. I'm not a fluid dynamics engineer. I'm just kind of a guy screwing around with stuff. Actually, I think this is an on trickle now. I don't know. I can't tell if it's starting or stopping. The best way to do is just look at the bed. If the bed's full, then it's about to start. If it's empty, then it's about to end. There's enough videos out there that explain how a bell siphon works. I don't see any point in needing me to explain that to you. There's plenty of videos out there on it. That's how we learn. Everything that we've learned here, we have had zero help, and we literally are piecing it together and figuring it out as we've done it. We have never, all of our information has come off of either websites or YouTube. And that's why I say I didn't really want to do a video, because pretty much all I'm doing is recanting information that we found on the internet and YouTube. There's nothing secret, nothing special. I just tell you what we've screwed up and what we haven't. We've plan on killing some fish, plan on killing some plants, plan on killing a lot of stuff, especially if you're first starting out. We killed a full set of fish one time, and that was due to an improper pH balance, and we had an algae plume that just sucked all the oxygen right out of the water, and all the fish flopped over and died. This batch of fish that we're on here is our second batch. In Florida, we learned that even in Florida, you have to heat the water for the tilapia, especially...
We got a floater.
Oh, got a floater. It's probably from the cold snap. But even in Florida, like I was saying, you have to heat this water. These tilapia do not do well with the cold. They don't do at all with it. The channel cat, however, we haven't lost a single one. Generally, with this larger tank, we learned that all the fish stay more on the inside where the dogs can't get them anyway. When it was that tank, they were all so close together, the dogs would literally just go in and pick them out. It was just too close. This floating piece of styrofoam isn't here for looks. It's actually, we're going to make just a raft system to float in here. Oh, there you go. You see that one just kicked on. That's a full flow drain. That's a full siphon right now. And that's a full siphon right now. So both of those are a full-on siphon. Basically this will, all the pipes will be adjusted when they're not going to be able to drain on this. But we'll cut holes in this, we'll grow lettuce in this. This also serves as a place for the fish. Fish like to hide, so you give them a place to hide under. We've heard, and once again, this is just kind of experimenting, so we're going to see what happens with it. No guarantees. It could work great, it could suck. Only one way to find out. We have noticed distinctly when we plant stuff in our ground, when we have a raised bed and a couple other beds, versus when we plant them in our aquaponics, it grows probably 2 to 3 times as fast. It is far faster growing in the aquaponics. Alright, basically to heat our water, what we've got is, I think this is maybe a 30-gallon heater for like a fish tank. It's normally tied onto that brick, but I guess it came loose. So long as it stays below the water level. That is enough to basically keep my fish from dying. Does it keep the water warm? I doubt it. But it does keep it warm enough to keep the tilapia from flopping over. We might lose one or two. Last night was a freeze. And when I say freeze, I'm talking about a Florida freeze. It's not a, it's not one of your northerners freeze. I don't think you could keep tilapia up north. You'd have to do fish more native to your area. We also do, even with all the water flow, we found that it's a good idea just to have a basic aerator. I mean, we just have a piece of pipe, you know, simple aeration stone. We just put a piece of pipe on there to weigh it down. Basically just try to aerate the water as much as possible. In a larger tank like this, I doubt we need that, but when we were in that tank, we were losing fish due to lack of oxygen. They would come up and try to breathe, especially as the water got hot, I believe it was. We originally started out with 150 tilapia and about 50 channel cat, plus or minus. And we're down to 50 tilapia and 50 channel cat. Meaning that the channel cat are very, I don't know, tough. We're pretty good at killing stuff, so the channel cat, we haven't killed many of. This is still flowing even though it's raining. And it takes about 30 seconds to drain out fully. About 30 seconds to 45. For our rebuild of this entire aquaponics system, we are going to go with both sets of beds. Basically, we'll have the pole here that brings in the water, but on this side is here, we'll also have another set of grow beds. So we'll be feeding 2 sets of grow beds off of 1 pipe. From there, all of it, both of these grow beds will drain into one large septic line, like about a 4-inch PVC line, and then we'll take one line all the way to the pool. Same thing is going to go for these. These are going, we'll probably link 2 of these beds together and make it into one big bed so we can slow down our flow. Because if you see the flow of this bed and this bed is far more than the flow on our smaller beds, which is it's just at a trickle. And the reason we want to do that is so we can make more beds but still run off of a lower pump capacity for the solar. Solar won't stand up to sucking down a whole bunch of water like that, especially overnight. We won't have a big enough battery bank to support that. But basically, all these beds, you'll have one on this side, one on that side, and it will drain. Instead of having long pipes that drain all the way in, we'll have it just dump into a 4-inch septic line or a 4-inch piece of PVC pipe that will then run over there. So basically, you'll have 2 4-inch PVC pipes, one for this, basically this entire row, one for this basic entire row. 2 pipes will dump into there. Might be able to even link the 2 pipes here and just run one large pipe. We will be able to make this, when we design it, we're also going to be able to put in PVC pipe and be able to make it into a greenhouse for the winter time, because we did lose a lot of plants in Florida from freezes, surprisingly. We didn't think it was going to be a problem. We live, we learn. This is our scraggly looking celery plant. It was originally a nice looking celery plant. We literally lobbed off all the celery and just kept the root base, and so far it's grown back. It's a little goofy looking, but I would assume that the celery tastes the same. See him looking at it. Also, what we've learned is the dogs like to eat the fish. So you either got to keep the dogs away from your fish or plan on feeding fish to your dog randomly. There's one floater in there. We just had a cold snap come through. It's also a large dog watering bowl, apparently.